Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Ooh, I hope you're warmed up. Hey, oh, it's a mighty long way from over yonder. It's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. You feeling safe? Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, from over yonder. It's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here, there to here. No, we're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. There's a lot of words to remember in the second half of that, so don't try. You sprung forward. Just ooh through that section, okay? Just ooh. We'll all be good, right? Let's do it again. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder, from over yonder. It's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Oh yeah, now I'm hearing that feedback, and I wonder if that's me. I don't know if that's me or you. I don't know. Well,
we're working on it back here.
I think it's you, not me. But yeah. So, but I don't need this anyway.
Oh wait, go back. Come back.
Okay, we got it. But that's all right. I can see from right here.
But the people online.
Oh, they can't hear me. Okay. Beautiful.
I know we got a lot more success.
All right, the people online, our digital community, beloved community, digital. Yay! All right, this is a song written for John Lewis, who could look out his office window down the mall to see the Lincoln Memorial where he spoke before Dr. King on the day of I Have a Dream. So his journey is a mighty long way from there to here. What can a man see who outside his window? It's a whole lifetime from there to here. And all those people who gave their sweat and their blood so that he could make that walk from there to here. Here we go. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder. It's a mighty long way, from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Now every child born is a revolution, with a song inside. Some won't hear it, oh, some hear nothing else. He'll sing night and day just to keep that song alive. Oh, it's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from over yonder. It's a mighty long way, it's a mighty long way from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here. Now when you've got a dream, you got to stand up and shout it loud and clear. What's that I'm hearing? It's the voice of the people singing that we will make that walk from there to here. Oh, it's a mighty long way, from over yonder, from over yonder. Now it's a mighty long way, from there to here. We're gonna take it, oh yes, one step at a time, so that we can make that walk from there to here, so that we can make that walk from there to here, so that we can make that walk from there to here.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome, Greg. Welcome to First Parish in Needham, a Unitarian Universalist congregation of humanists, theists, atheists, agnostics, seekers, and interfaith families. I'm Reverend Katie Scudera, she, hers, and I have been honored to serve as lead minister here for nearly 10 years. You can learn more about all that's happening at First Parish by going to our website, uuneedham.org, and signing up for our weekly email newsletter, or by following us on social media. Our order of service is online too, at the QR code in your pews, or at the website, uuneedham.updates.church. Please speak with our ushers, greeters, or Zoom hosts if you have any questions or accessibility needs. At First Parish, we covenant to live out our shared values of the inherent worth and dignity of every person, respecting the earth and co-creating beloved community. Whoever you are, whatever your background or identity, whatever your age or stage, whether you walked or rolled in, and wherever you are participating from, you are welcome here. I'm delighted to serve as worship associate this morning to our wonderful guest, musician and lay Unitarian Universalist Greg Greenway, who performed at our Homegrown Coffee House last night too. Many thanks to our Homegrown Coffee House leadership team, Beth Sargent, Chris Payhood, and Tom Gaiman, for inviting Greg to offer music and a sermon today. And I invite Beth to head over to the Candles mic. You want to come up here? Yeah, you can go up there. I invite Beth Sargent over to the Candles mic to give an introduction for Greg.
So good morning. My pleasant task this morning is to introduce you to one of my absolute all-time favorite multi-instrumentalist, multi-genre musicians, Mr. Greg Greenway. Greg has been performing at the Homegrown since the mid-90s, so for a while. And it's been wonderful every time he has come through. It is just a transporting experience. I believe this is the first time he's done a Sunday service for us, so I am just thrilled to have him here. He's been in other groups for 8 years. He was part of Brother Sun with Pat Wichter and Joe Jenks. They performed here at least once as Brother Sun, and then they all had such crazy busy performing lives that they went on to do other things. And he also has a duo with his very dear friend Reggie Harris, who was born, I believe, within 3 days of Greg's birthday, so it's pretty awesome. And they have just dedicated their mission to expanding understanding and making sure that we understand all the implications of racism and anti-racism. So Greg has just been an ambassador for humanity, I think. So I'm also going to put in a little plug for the Homegrown at this point. We have 4 concerts left in our season. One is, the next one is Low Lily Duo. The 2 founding members of Low Lily are coming to perform Americana here on March 23rd. And if you are a bluegrass fan, my all-time favorite bluegrass band, Southern Rail, is going to be performing here on April 6th. They are phenomenal. We refer to them as high-octane bluegrass, and that's saying a lot. And then on April 27th, our own Chris Payhood, who is back there as a backbencher this morning. That's where I love to be. So he and Tom Pirozzoli will be performing on April 27th, which is like a makeup of a snow date. And then we round out our 41st season with the incomparable Katie Curtis. She is a phenomenal performer, songwriter, artist, multi-instrumentalist, and she is just a phenomenal ambassador for all things around sexual identity. So she's a phenomenal performer. I really urge you to come And remember, you can get in for free if you volunteer. So we are always looking for volunteers. We are particularly looking for volunteers. We were joking with someone who had already volunteered this morning that it helps if you're tall, because we have some things that need to be put away at the end of the evening up high. So, but if you're not tall, that's fine. we want you to be able to experience the homegrown. It's a wonderful community experience. And we did a phenomenal job last night with Greg because he's an amazing performer. So, without further ado, I introduce Greg.
Thank you so much, Beth, and thank you, Greg, for being with us this morning. We're excited to hear more from you. And welcome again to everyone here in the building and online. We're so glad you're here. As we light our chalice, symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith, we read words from Black UU minister, Reverend Viola Abbott. We are Unitarian Universalists. When we lift up our principles, some of us think of them as a form of theology, but they are more important to our collective than that. They do not tell us what we should believe, they tell us how we should be. They tell us how we should act in the larger world and with each other. It has been a long and sometimes unforgiving road to today, but we are here today because we are mindful of our past and because we have hope for the future. We want the practice of this faith to be a fulfilling manifestation of its promise. Open your hearts, seek new ways of understanding, and come, let us worship together.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more somewhere. There is more somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more somewhere. Peace. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. Joy, there is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere. Oh, I'm gonna keep on till I find it. Oh, there is more joy somewhere. There is more joy somewhere.
For Unitarian Universalists, the congregational covenant is what brings and binds us together. The covenant represents promises we make for how we are to be with one another and how we intend to live out in the world. Please say with me the First Parish Covenant as in your orders of service and on screen. We gather as a loving community to encourage and comfort one another. We gather as a diverse community to support each other in our search for spiritual truth. We gather as a service community to live our beliefs through action and care for our world. I'm honestly so delighted that both Sarah Elizabeth and Dara are already downstairs with our older elementary school kids, starting off with Our Whole Lives the Owl program for the first time since the pandemic began. I'm excited that that's happening as a baseline, and I'm excited they're down there because that leaves me up here to offer the time for all ages with Greg Greenway. The same year that Black poet and activist Amanda Gorman offered a stirring poem at the inauguration of President Joe Biden, she also became a published children's book author with Change Sings, a children's anthem. In an interview, Gorman said, "I wrote this book because I believe every child has the ability to make a difference and that they are the leaders of the future. I hope readers will enjoy Change Sings and remember that all of us have the power to change the world." In our theme month on transformation, and on a Sunday when we have a guest singer-songwriter present, and when Laura will soon be taking our younger elementary school kids downstairs to learn about and sing together labor rights songs, I hope that you'll enjoy this wonderful story about change and collaboration, and I hope that when the time comes, you'll sing along. Change Sings. I can hear change humming in its loudest, proudest song. I don't fear change coming, and so I sing along. I scream with the skies of red and blue streamers. I dream with the cries of tried and true dreamers. I'm a chant that rises and rings. There is hope when my change sings.
Change sings, change sings, singing changes everything. Change sings and changes things. Won't you sing for change?
Though I don't understand it, those windmills of mysteries, I sing with all the planet and its hills of histories. I hum with 100 hearts, each of us lifting a hand. I use my strengths and my smarts, take a knee to make a stand. I'm bright as the light each day brings. There is love when my change sings.
Change
Sings, change sings, singing changes everything. Change sings and changes things. Won't you sing for change? I show others tolerance, though it might take some courage. I don't make a taller fence, but fight to build a better bridge. I talk not only of distances from where and how we came, I also walk our differences to show we are the same. I'm a movement that roars and springs. There's a wave where my change sings. Change sings, change sings, singing changes everything. Change sings and changes things. Won't you sing for change? Change sings where? There, inside me, because I'm the change I want to see. As I grow, it grows like seeds. I am just what the world needs. I'm the voice where freedom rings. You're the love your bright heart brings. We are the wave starting to spring, for we are the change we sing. We're what the world is becoming, and we know it won't be long. We all hear the change strumming. Won't you sing along? Change sings, change sings. Singing changes everything. Change sings and changes things. Won't you sing for change? Thank you all so much for singing for change, for acting for change. We each but each of us has at least one instrument to play in transformation. Now, as our younger children gather here, the steps of the chancel, as soon after they sing for us, Laura's going to take them down to their religious exploration opportunity. Please join in singing Long Time Son, as in your orders of service and on screen. Long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And your life within you. Guide your way on. Long time sun shine upon you. All love surround you. And your life within you. Guide your way on. Hey, you get there and bring it. They're gone. No. Have fun down there, Laura. You know these kids. They're out of here. Is there Alexis down there too? Yes. Oh, okay. Have fun. Oh, yeah. Have a good time. Hi, everybody. This is the time during our worship service when we share joys and concerns that are very close to our hearts and to our lives. Our ministerial intern, Dara Bryans, is receiving pre-submitted candles at candles@uuneedham.org by the Friday before the service at midnight. If you're participating on Zoom or YouTube, you may type your candle into the chat box to be held with those worshiping with you today. We have one pre-submitted candle from the First Parish staff team, a candle of sorrow in recognition of 5 months of violence, trauma, and death in Gaza and Israel. It is especially tragic that Gazan civilians are still being killed and are starving every day, despite international pressure for the Israeli military to change its strategies. May we be part of building peace locally and globally. Now, if you are in the building and have a joy or concern to share, please come forward, light a candle, and then share your name, your pronouns, and briefly describe what is on your heart.
Hi, my name is Lila Whitman. I'm happy to be back for the next 2 weeks. I've been suffering through this sinus sort of virus for the past 8 weeks, and hopefully my acupuncture will help. Plus, in a few weeks, I see my nephews. Another thing is, I have a cousin who was skiing and he tore his ACL, and I'm hoping he'll get better. On top of that, we almost didn't make it out of our road because it's mud season up in Vermont. When the ground thaws, it melts and the road is so bad and everything. They fixed it once, so we ended up having to have my dog sitter take us to Mount Pivetta to get a rental. So, and on top of that, they have a storm now, so I'm hoping it will be better.
And now for all the joys and sorrows we still hold in our hearts, and for the prayers of our neighbors near and far, we light a final silent candle. May the peace of this sanctuary be felt too wherever you are participating from, as we remember that even though we are worshiping in different times and places, we are still deeply connected. As we enter into a time of prayer, reflection, and meditation, please become comfortable yet alert wherever your body rests. Join me in taking a deep breath in and out. As you continue to breathe, listen to this prayer adapted from biracial UU seminarian Kari Gottfried. Love loudly, spirit of light, of life, of all that is good and bad and in between. Give us courage and inspiration to love loudly, to share our joy and compassion with others, to let them know how much we appreciate them. We all give and receive love, but loving loudly is one of the greatest gifts of all, and it's so simple. All it requires is one person who is willing to say to anyone and everyone, "You are loved. You are worthy of love. You deserve to be loved." Spirit of life, help us spread love throughout our communities. Help us to teach others to love loudly, so that it begins to circle around and we can hear it echo back to us too. Amen.
We need more light round here. We need more light round here. When the depth of the darkness, I see the face of my fear. We need more light, we need more light round here. Oh, we need more light round here.
This month, here we go. This congregation has been supported by the volunteered time and treasure of its members and friends since its founding in 1711. For the month of March, we're sharing our collection 50-50 with the Grow Clinic at Boston Medical Center, a program that serves local children diagnosed with failure to thrive. First Parish is in our second decade of supporting the Grow Clinic, raising funds and often organizing young people among us to assist with direct donations of non-perishable goods for their food pantry. The clinic relies on financial donations for its outreach and educational services that are not reimbursed by insurance companies nor government programs. To donate to today's offering, you can use one of 3 different methods as described in detail in your orders of service, using text to give, donating through our website, uuneedham.org, or dropping a check or cash into the collection plate or mailing a check to First Parish. Whichever way you donate, remember to specify whether your donation is meant for the plate collection or for your annual pledge. And if this is one of your first times at First Parish, we also encourage you to fill out a yellow card in your pew back or fill out our online visitors form at uuneedham.updates.church. And many thanks this morning to the Barbieri family for our beautiful flowers today, in loving memory of Carla's father, James Patrick English, who was born on St. Patrick's Day. Thank you for everything you are able to give to support and sustain this congregation and the vital work of our community partners. May the ushers please come forward.
I've always been a dreamer. It's the way that I found of keeping my head in the clouds, my feet off the ground. From that stumbling, humbling parade, love has brought me here. Oh, what's gonna help me to stay? The romance of the loner is the power of one. You know, it takes the power of many to get anything done. Anything beyond the nose upon your face. Love has brought me here. Oh, what's gonna help me to stay? No one is an island. No one is a stone. Can be done alone, not alone, no, alone. For us, the new arrivals, late to the stage. Whatever brought you to this door, whatever brought you this way, from that stumbling, humbling parade, gonna help me to stay. Love has brought me here. Oh, love's gonna help me. Love is gonna help me. Love is gonna help me to stay. It looks like it's time for me to talk. All right. Oh, there we go. Sorry. It's time for me to do my reading. The reading today is from John Lewis, a hero of mine. This is something he wrote for everyone to read after he was gone. And you would think that he was a UU minister when you read this, when you hear this, but it's from something called Across That Bridge, a vision for change in the future of America. You are a light. You are the light. Never let anyone, any person, any force dampen, dim, or diminish your light. Study the path of others to make your way easier and more abundant. Lean towards the whispers of your own heart. Discover the universal truth and follow its dictates. Release the need to hate, to harbor division and the enticement of revenge. Release all bitterness. Hold only love. Only peace in your heart, knowing that the battle for good to overcome evil is already won. Choose confrontation wisely, but when it is your time, don't be afraid to stand up, and speak out against injustice. And if you follow your truth down the road to peace and the affirmation of love, then the poetry of all the great dreamers and philosophers is yours to manifest in a nation, a world community, and a beloved community that is finally at peace with itself. Before I say anything in this moment, I just want to pay my respects to the people who stand over there, to the ministers. I am a usurper of the space for this. I'm an invited usurper, let's put it that way. An invited usurper. You have willingly exposed yourself to me. But I so respect, having known so many ministers, what their job is, and I get to talk about something that is in my heart. They have to do this in their heart 36 times a year. So it's quite the task. And for me to stand here in this chancel and to speak to your beloved community is an honor and a privilege. So thank you. It's really amazing that someone in the congregation today knows where I'm from. We went to high school together for a year from Richmond, Virginia, and so much of what I'm going to say comes from that birth, from that time. The title of this thing, which you have written somewhere, is That's Where the Hope Comes From. Because it feels like, man, we need some directions. Where is the hope? Where is the hope? I hopefully will lead you to some of it. The first principle that brings us into this church. The inherent worth and dignity of every person. Let's say that together. The inherent worth and dignity of every person. If you take that seriously, this is a monumental task. And it seems like as the times have changed, some friends of mine felt necessary to say, okay, I hear you say it, I want to see you do it. And so they wrote something called the 8th principle. And to me, it basically just calls us on the carpet. The 8th principle: we, the member congregations of the Unitarian Universalist Association, covenant to affirm and promote journeying towards spiritual wholeness by working to build a diverse, multicultural, beloved community by our actions that accountably dismantle racism and other oppressions in ourself and our institutions. Now, I've spoken to a lot of people about this, and that last line, that's a problem for some people. That whole thing, that accountably dismantle, accountably. I had a very good friend, minister in Williamsburg, Virginia, who used to tell me, it's not a problem getting my parishioners, or whatever you're called out there, the folks, to agree with me. The hard part is getting them off the golf course. The number 200, very important number in human beings. Yuval Noah Harari wrote a book, he's an Israeli scientist, wrote a book called Sapiens, which as an ex-anthropology studier really spoke to me. But the number 200 was that in any population of 200 or smaller, everybody has a chance to interact with each other. They all have some kind of relationship with each other. And I think this works for churches as well. Churches above 200, churches below 200, there's a different way of working. Because not everybody knows everybody. And I think that if you think about it in the military, why company level is just below 200. So everybody knows everybody. Everybody is personally affected by what each other does. Once you get above that number, something else has to organize you. The inherent worth and dignity of every person is an idea, the abstract, the truth that we see. And there are plenty of other people who don't see that truth the same way. But as Harari said, these abstracts, God, money, the gods, perceived reality, loyalty, hope, love, all of those big concepts, those truths, exist in only one place: the human mind. That's the only place it is. And so it is up to us to carry those ideas in a way that is meaningful to us and hopefully unites us. Now, I believe, I'm a folk singer, so take this with a grain of folky salt. I believe that the human mind is an order-producing machine, that its job is to create order out of chaos so that we can function together as a society. No wonder reality is so fought over right now. And with AI, I can't even guarantee you that this is really me. But reality is being fought over. Why? Because that unifying concept at the bottom of it all is what holds every one of us together. I thought I saw a coup. You didn't see a coup. I thought I saw a coup. You didn't see a coup. As far as I'm concerned, no legitimate political discourse involves bear spray. We're fighting over the facts. We're fighting over our universal, that idea that unites us, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Now, one of the problems I have is I'm born to the largest, most powerful group of humans probably in history, white males in America. I'm a white male. My inherent worth and dignity has never really been impugned on any way than an abstract level. And I would like to extrapolate that. I would say to most of us here in this room, our inherent worth and dignity has not been impugned on a level that is meaningful, as in results in serious changes in our life or maybe even death. Most of America has not had, in this time, and I had the opportunity, and Susan, you did too, we're still growing up, but to form ourselves in the wealthiest 3 decades of any middle class in any history of the world. The 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, more wealth and opportunity came into the middle class than any place, anytime, anywhere. So it gives us the opportunity to have this kind of bizarre idea that everything's getting better and is going to be okay. But we live in a time, you turn on the television set and you see 7 minutes and 46 seconds of a human being dispassionately choke the life out of another human being. Our children go to school and practice lockdown drills. Reality is just around the corner. And whatever bubble you're in, it's going to be popped at some point. So much is happening in our life and our time. Now, I'm not here to make you feel bad. That's not the point. The point is to see it, to see what you're handed and understand that that can change at any moment. Now, as a musician, I get to do all kinds of strange things. I was on a broadcast. My friend Reggie Harris, as you mentioned, we do Deeper Than the Skin. We were born 3 days apart, both Sagittarians, thank goodness. And we go around the country talking about telling our story. I grew up in a place that believed that those statues on Monument Avenue were absolutely beautiful works of art to be admired. And when you read the inscriptions on there, it talks about the bravery of the lost cause. This is what I was handed. Many of you handed the same thing. And then when you go into a wider world, there is a dissonance that occurs. And then hopefully that dissonance is eye-opening. And my dissonance came high school. Now, all of our dissonance is coming because in November of 2024, there's a big opportunity for major dissonance. I'll leave it there. But I had the opportunity, through Reggie, to be involved with something called the Living Legacy Project. Now, you might have heard of that. They take busloads of people to all of the famous civil rights South in the South. And they meet people who are the ones who are still living or the children of people who are actually going across the Edmund Pettus Bridge, the people who were marching to Montgomery, people who were standing beside Reverend James Reeb when he was hit over the head and killed. On that broadcast, I got to sing. I do what I do. The other person on that broadcast was a woman named Flonzie Brown Wright. Now, Flonzie got her name from her great-grandmother, who was a native person in Mississippi. A lot of blacks are related to native peoples in Mississippi and Alabama. Flonzie Brown Wright told her story. First elected black woman in the state of Mississippi. It was a long way from there to here for her. So she told the fact that when Medgar Evers was assassinated, in her little town, she was made the head of the NAACP. And she was told, not only you're the head, but get ready to hear from Dr. King because you need to find places for 3,000 people to stay because we're having a movement. So from that moment on, at the age of like 20, she was neck deep in the civil rights movement. And it wasn't an abstract to her. So many cases where you will hear, like, like in the counties around Selma, where there would be 10,000 eligible voters and only 100 were registered. This was absolutely intentional. She was given a voting test, a voter registration test. The white people answered 7 questions. Basically, what's your address, etc. They had to answer 27 questions, the black people did. And one of them would be something like, how many grains of sand on a beach? How many bubbles in a bar of soap? Now, this is an educated woman standing there talking to a man who was elected to this office who had only an 8th grade education. Now, question 17, she had to draw out of a bowl. What it was they'd snipped up the Mississippi State Constitution, and she had to explain to this guy, to her best knowledge, what this meant to pass the test. And she pulled out habeas corpus. She didn't know what habeas corpus was, and neither did he. Neither did he. So she started asking him questions. Well, what about this? And she started to have a reputation as a troublemaker amongst the whites in that little teeny town in Mississippi. So he called her the N-word and said, "You flunked, get out of my office." And she went outside and she said, "I'm going to have that office." 4 years later, she was elected to that office and began registering people, thousands of black voters in Mississippi. Why is that so important? Why is voter suppression so important? Because this is what gives us all a voice. And the first thing somebody who doesn't want anything to change will do is take that right from you. So at the end of her talk online, she had a Q&A, and somebody said, "Was there ever a time that you wanted to give up, that you wanted to quit?" And she said, without a nanosecond of hesitation, she said, "Every night. Every night I wanted to give. I was so tired, and I was so tired of it happening time and time again, every night. But I made a promise to the people around me and to myself that the next morning I was going to get up and put on my shoes, go to work." In the light of that, in the light of walking around Selma and seeing the relatives of James Reeb talk about their grandfather, the UU minister who was killed, Viola Liuzzo, killed, 2 Unitarian Universalists. And as I heard put it later by Reverend Barber, he said, "There is power in the blood." We have spilled blood. We have had our way paid forward. And in the light of all of that, how scary is that last phrase? Is that accountably dismantle racism? How scary is that phrase now in the light of what people have gone through and been through to give us our bubble? We have to look at the challenges of our time, not in paralysis, but just like Flonzie Brown Wright, put your shoes on and go to work. Where is the hope? The hope is the fact that your heart is still beating, that your hands are still working, that your feet are still moving. There's still the opportunity. And when I think back to all of the people who have inspired me, Dr. King, Gandhi, they faced an immense opposition to get done what they got done. And only as we read it in history books is it so neat. Like point A leads to point B. It's never that way. And don't ever think that these people are all that exceptional, because there are thousands of people out there every day doing what Flonzie Brown Wright did. I had never heard of her. I'm sure you hadn't either. So many people have given their lives energy to change something that they knew they would never see in their lifetime. We will never see the end to racism in our lifetime. But we can push that rock down the road because you can see it in our children that they do not have the same attitudes. I am, Susan, you must be too. The people who told me their story, the one that was handed to them, I had to reject. The strange part of that is when you reject that, in a way you reject a part of yourself. But my heart is still beating, my feet still moving, my hands are still working. I can talk to you, and hopefully I will move you. Flonzie Brown Wright will move you. Accountability. This is what we need to do. We need to be accountable for believing in the truth and the inherent dignity of all humans, all people. So it moves me to tears when I meet people who have given their life like this. So I was out mowing the lawn in my little bubble, and I started singing. That's where the hope comes from. When you open the door to the church and you see people in this room ready to do things, making committees happen, God knows we are Unitarian Universalists. We make committees. We meet. But that leads to action. When you look around this room, that's where the hope comes from. We have to make it. So I'm going to sing you that song that I wrote in my backyard. And I'm going to use this instrument that will clear all of our cats out of the room I'm in. Just a little bit of hope, everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my heart is broken. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun, then your heart is still beating. That's where the hope comes from. That's where the hope comes from. And you can do that second one with me, right? That's where the hope comes from. That's where the hope comes. Just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my feet are tired. The race is barely run. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Well, then my feet, they start to moving, moving. That's where the hope comes from. That's where the hope comes. Well, just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my hands are weary. The work is never done. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Well, then my hands, they start to working, working. That's where the hope comes from. That's where the hope comes. And just a little bit of hope. Everybody, a little bit of hope. Everyone, oh, my voice is faltering. The song is barely sung. You could quit every night, tired of the fight. Up comes the morning sun. Well, then the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. Yeah, the people start to singing, singing. That's where the hope comes from. That's where the hope comes from.
Thank you so much, Greg, for giving us a word today. And as I already told him, the melodica, what he was just playing, is one of my top 2 favorite weird instruments, along with the vibroslap. So thank you for bringing that in. A bunch of you out there is like, that's a melodica? What's a vibroslap? You can Google it. Thank you, Greg. As we near the close of our service, I'd like to share with you some announcements about what's coming up at First Parish. Remember that all are welcome at Social Hour, both on-site and on Zoom, and you can find out every detail about what's coming up on our weekly e-newsletter. A link is included in that online order of service. Today at Social Hour, you will want to stay and linger. Not only can you stop by the pastoral care table, check in with Sarah Elizabeth about the upcoming Gaza Conflicts Book Club, and check in with Dara about these signs created by the Needham Muslim Neighbors community. They'd like for people who aren't Muslim to put up this sign. They don't feel as lonely in Needham. You can buy these for $9. We can talk about it at Social Hour. But in addition to all that, there's also a bunch of pie in anticipation of Pie Day this week, 3/14. You can sample a pie, or you could buy a whole pie, home-baked by our senior youth group in support of their April service trip to Virgin Islands National Park. Grief and Loss Support Group is also meeting this afternoon at 12:30 on Zoom. Coming up this week, tomorrow evening on Zoom, we have a discussion group on a recent UU World article. There's yoga in the parish hall on Wednesday at noon, and our weekly Zoom groups are meeting on Thursday and Friday, Writing Escapes, Vespers, Meditation Ministry, and Creative Escapes. Next weekend, we also have a couple of special events. On Saturday, we're hosting the local chapter of Braver Angels for a workshop called Depolarizing Within, to offer skill building for difficult partisan conversations. You can find registration information in the bell notes and on our website. There is a limit to the number of participants. And on Sunday after Social Hour, we'll gather for our seasonal vernal equinox ritual on site and for caregiver support group on Zoom. And then later that day, I have a lot of posters today. I was thinking about bringing in a third one, but then I stayed. Then we'll also have a dinner, in the evening, with the Purpose Project, part of the work of our innovation team. The Purpose Project people invite you to dinner conversation about the purpose of First Parish. Next Sunday evening, there will be pizza. That's what it says on here. You can talk to Susan McGarvey about that as well during Social Hour. Please also note, if you're thinking of signing up for the all-virtual National UU General Assembly this June, where there will be votes on our principles and sources changing at the national level, the early bird registration pricing ends this week. And remember, we're now 6 weeks into our annual budget drive, and we're excited to announce that we've reached 75% of our ambitious goal of $335,000 in pledges for our 2024 to 2025 congregational budget. Thank you all so much for your generosity. And if you are among the third of the church who hasn't submitted a pledge yet, be forewarned that you'll be receiving even more emails and maybe a phone call, from our budget drive team soon. There's one way to avoid that. It's pledging. We always extinguish our chalice with words, promising to carry its flame in our hearts until we are together again, no matter how long it is, until we are all together again. Please join me from home or here in the building in saying those words written by UU Minister Reverend Elizabeth Sally Jones. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, nor the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
For the benediction, tell you that my wife is a sixth-generation Universalist. Her dad, Minister David McPherson from Somerville, and passed this down, and whenever I'm doing this, I just look across the room and say, what's a great benediction? And she'll go right off the top of her head. And this is from Edward Everett Hale. It's number 457 in Singing the Living Tradition. But so meaningful and tied into what we've been talking about this morning. I am only one, but still I am one. I cannot do everything, but still I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. And now I can post it. Yeah, you haven't escaped yet. Yeah, that's your note. It's B flat. It's the people's key. Hey. All right, you'll get the chorus. Well, I learned as a child there's two ways to see the world as it is and the way it could be. Some people say that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Now they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded, they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Now this is the chorus. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Let's do it again. Some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Oh, I've seen the toll taken, the tears that were shed. I've seen the journey started and the ripples spread. Still people say, well, that's just not my problem. Some people do what must be done. Oh, they see the hole in the fabric that must be sewn. They see the way blockaded and they roll back the stone. They see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. One last time, some people do what must be done. Well, they do what must be done. Hey, they see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. Oh, they see the day beyond the horizon, and they do what must be done. They see the way on that long road to freedom, and they do